how else are we going to rest our 7 sacred rest things? Sensory. How can I rest my sensories?
All right, so I'm going to say this, and you guys, so I have taken social media breaks from time to time, right?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Colleen's out.
Don't make me. I'm out.
End call.
I'm just kidding. Go on. I'm not going to do it, though.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Medeiros.
And I'm Colleen Hungerford. And this is We're Doing This Right? A podcast for the whole woman. Mind, body, soul, and business.
It's humor infused, as real as it gets, inspiring, and you'll walk away with real usable tools for life and business.
If you love what you're hearing, please share with a friend, subscribe so you'll never miss an episode, and rate and review whenever you listen.
So find your earbuds, lace up your walking shoes, or cozy up with a beverage of your choice. It's time to dig in.
Hi, everybody who's doing it right. Colleen, did you do it right today?
I think so. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Sometimes I'm doing it right in one area and doing it really wrong in the other. Like how I made you guys wait for 20 minutes before we started because I was running late because I was crushing it on a presentation that I was giving. But that is just life. There is no balance.
Yep, we win where we win. Well, we have a guest today. I'd love to tell you about Greene Hill, an award-winning Philadelphia area realtor with Compass Real Estate. She partners with clients to provide superior experience throughout the entire process, and it is her pleasure to serve her clients. Also, she's a badass B-word, and she's going to tell us a lot more about herself than just that 1 second introduction.
Why did you edit yourself?
I'm like, wait a minute.
I just didn't know if Dee wanted me to call her a bitch.
Well, badass bitch is good.
I know, yeah. It just has to be prefaced by, there you go.
Just trying to be respectful. Dee and I had a whole conversation about respect while you were not here yet.
I was disrespecting you guys by not showing up.
We're singing Aretha over here. Come on, give it to me.
Okay. Dee, we're so excited you're here.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you. This is awesome. All right. I don't have a fancy microphone, but
that's
You're fine.
You
don't need it.
Sometimes I don't either. On my last episode, the last 20 minutes of my audio just completely went away because my microphone died when I was recording that one. So that was really cool.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh my
Didn't do that one right.
Dee, you are passionate about so many things, and you have a really lovely point of view about rest. Are you talking to us about that today? Is that what we're talking about? What are you feeling passionate about today?
Yeah, we can talk about that a bit. Absolutely. Yes, rest is required. It is not necessarily a reward, and that's what I start off by saying all the time, especially as moms and business women and just all the hats that we wear. We need to make sure that we're factoring that in. And it's not just sleep. It's not. There's so many aspects to rest, right? So that's the journey that I've been on over the last few years to just discover all the different aspects of rest and where I'm deficient and where I can improve upon.
I think it's so interesting to talk about this idea of rest not being a reward. I feel this, like, you hear the same thing about food. Like, food shouldn't be a reward. Like, you don't earn a treat, or, like, you don't earn rest. Like, you can just have it. Like, also, like, it's something that can just exist. So talk to us a little bit more about that, because how did that come about for you? Are you still in that process? How did you learn about that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's going to be an ongoing thing until the time comes for me to not be here anymore. But yeah, it started with, first experiencing burnout in 2018, right? So that's usually what happens, right? You just hit the bottom and you got to work your way out of that. Experience burnout, 2018. I just had my last pregnancy loss. That was number 6. And from there, I was just working a lot, and my son by that point was 4. So, just really still trying to balance the whole work, life thing. And, I thought I was doing well, like trying to step back from everything. I really took that year to just kind of, say no to things and just clear my plate, if you will, and just kind of reflect on where I was at and what I wanted from my business and all of that, and thought I was doing a pretty good job of it. But then fast forward to 2022, by that point, I had built a team, like literally in the last 3 years, to a team of 9.
Wow.
And I was with Compass by that point, and my mother was also battling cancer. So I was walking with her on her cancer journey. She had stomach and colon cancer. So yeah, I do have a sibling. I have a younger sister, but she's not local. So I was more so the, partner to be with her on her appointments and her chemos and treatments and all of that. So it was a lot. It was a lot. And I got to the point I had just dropped my son off at tutoring, and I went to Target to get him some breakfast because he was not feeling what I had made him, right?
Life, always. Who does?
I was like, fine, I'll go get something from Starbucks, fine. So I went to get it, and they didn't have it. They ran out of the sandwich that he always likes. I was like, give me a break. So I'm literally sitting in the parking lot, and then the tears just started falling, and I mean, I'm sure the people parked next to me like, what is going on with this lady? But, it was just
we think
really
that, but
traumatic.
realistically, they're all like, oh, I've fucking been there. I have been there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure at that time I just wasn't even paying attention. But, yeah, it just really hit me at that point. And that's when I knew something still wasn't right. And because I'm like, I'm burning out again. Like, this is number 2. I thought I fixed this the last time. Why
How do we
am I
burn
going
out
through
from
this
burnout? Like,
Exactly.
I thought we were out.
I'm out, right? I'm not trying to burn again. No more burning. So, yeah, it really just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I knew at that point that things had to be done. So, I was coaching with someone, and, I had the team, and I was just like, and this is one aspect. I'm not saying the team was like the whole reason why I burnt out, but that was one aspect of it. And, I was just like, what can I do to kind of manage this a bit better? Because I was a team leader that was very involved. I had weekly one-on-ones with my team and our team meetings, and I was just like very available. So she was like, well, let's
Were you still actively selling a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was on my list. Like, I wanted to be able to kind of phase out of that active selling. So I was giving a lot of my warm leads to my team members, client people I had worked with previously and all of that. So yeah, they were taking those on. But yeah, I wanted to kind of phase out of that and just really be able to more so be the rainmaker, right? So yeah, that was kind of my goal. But in talking to the coach at the time, I just wanted to figure out what my next steps would be with the team. So she was like, well, let's put together this plan, and I'll meet with all the team members, and we can try to get personality types and, just figure out like what you need to give them, and, blah, blah,
And then
blah.
did your head start spinning just thinking about the legwork of that?
Oh my gosh. I was like, you need to do this because I can't, honestly. Yeah. So she met one-on-one with them and put together a plan. We met to present the plan, and I was just like, I can't do this. Like, it just hit me. Like, I was like, I want to dissolve the team.
Wow.
I just, I was just going with my gut at that point. And she was like, well, how do you feel about that in that moment? Like, she didn't really question why or where it was coming from. Like, well, how do you feel? And I was like, it literally felt like a huge weight just lifted off of my shoulders. Like, literally.
Wow.
Like, I could breathe, And from there, I just really took the time to get back to myself, focus on me and why I love real estate to begin with. I do enjoy working with the people, right? And again, talking about active selling, I started phasing out of that, but I realized I do enjoy that part of it. So going back to the rest piece, that was at a time when I was just trying to figure out what else I could be doing from a rest standpoint. And my best friend gave me a book called Sacred Rest. And they have a quiz in there that you can take. And that's where I found out more about the different types of rest, that there are 7 types of rest.
My God, I love a quiz. I want to.
Oh, yes. Quizzes are the
quiz.
Best.
Okay.
You need to know. Like, it just asks you all these questions about how you rest or what are your thoughts on rest and things like that. But my results revealed that I was very deficient in creative rest as well as mental rest. My physical rest was fine. I was good. So I was good with that. Listen, don't play with my sleep.
This is so interesting. And you presented this topic to our mutual group, and I was not there that day. And so I am like, oh my God, tell me more about these different types of rest, because rest is hard for me. So keep going. Keep going.
It's hard for all of us. I mean, honestly, there are times, talking about, am I doing this right? Like, there's still times when I'm just like, am I really doing this right? In terms of prioritizing the rest. But then there's still, my son and wanting to be present for him and all, being a wife and all of those things.
Yeah, those responsibilities don't go away just because we want to rest.
Like, I want to rest all day long.
I have a fun story about a time I tried to rest earlier this week that didn't work. I did not do it right. So we had Emmy's doctor's appointment up at Stanford this weekend on Monday, and it was an exhausting day. I feel like I ran a marathon that day. And my mom was at the house we rented, my husband, my 3 girls, and me. And I was like, okay, Mom, you have the girls covered. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to go upstairs and take a bath. First of all, I couldn't get the fucking temperature right on the bath, which was super frustrating. Should have known this was going to go this way. I take a shower while I fill the bathtub. It was a tool. It was a fancy house. And I'm finally sitting in the bath, trying to relax, play my stupid fruit merge game that I'm obsessed with. Listen to my dragon porn book, The Fourth Wing. Actually, I'm on Iron Flame again right now, in case anybody's following this saga with me. Anyhow, I'm sitting there. Emmy comes in. They've all been coming in at different times. And I'm like, could you all just go away? Mom just needs a fucking minute to myself. And Emmy comes in, and she sticks her hands in the bathtub. Then she's wiping her hands on my towel. And then she pulls the towel, and then the towel lands in the bathtub. And my phone is on the towel, so my phone also lands in the bathtub. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, I just wanted to come down from this day.
Oh my God.
So I tried to rest.
You did.
I tried.
I'm so stressed out hearing that story.
I know. I was like, oh my God, it's a brand new phone. I just got a new phone because I'm afraid about the tariffs and the electronics coming from China. So I got a phone ahead of that. And I'm like, here it is in the bathtub. It's fine. They're water resistant now. Thank you, Apple.
Oh, are they? Oh, that's good.
Allegedly. I mean,
did you put it in rice? Did you put it in rice?
Nope. I just hit the bottom a few times. It sounded a little gargly for a minute, but it's fine. They really are water resistant. I've dropped more than one in the bathtub.
My God.
So, I'm sorry. Wait, thank you, Dee, for being here. Come back and tell us more.
Well, I hope you get your bath. Oh my goodness.
I might one day this week.
I want to go back to because I haven't heard this before, and I know our listeners haven't. So there are different types of rest. Do you remember? I don't want to put you on the spot. Like, what are those 7 different types, or can you give us some of them?
Yeah. So, creative, mental, spiritual, physical, emotional, sensory, and social.
Oh,
I need that sensory rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social rest is so real. And I think that, for me at least, like, I'm a pretty extroverted person and I like to go out and talk to people and whatever. But there are times where I need to just like sit in my car and zone out because I've over peopled, right? Like I've peopled too much in a short period of time. And so I think when we think about like social rest, we think a lot about like introverts or people who don't like to go out and do, but I think extroverts need that sometimes as well. Or maybe I'm an introvert and I don't know
Agreed.
it.
Yeah.
You're an extroverted introvert.
Maybe.
I feel like I am.
I think
That's
so.
a thing.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and
Okay.
I think that at this stage with like the sensory overload that I currently have with like having this tiny humans that are always present, it just like I'm an extrovert, but I find myself trying to arrive to like school pickup 10 minutes early and park away from everybody so I can just like be quiet for like
out.
a little bit of a transition period between being the badass bitch at work to being the trying to survive mom at home.
That's a real thing. I have recently started to feel that way too. Like there have been some more like work events that I'm like, doing the work event. And then when there's school stuff, sometimes I'm just like, I can't do it. I told David, I'm like, I need you to go to that parent thing that's involving all the people and the talking. I've talked to many people today. And he's like, what are you talking? He's like, you're so weird.
I'm peopled out.
I'm people out.
I'm done people.
Okay. I'm done people like, okay, so Dee, walk us through like what are like we're talking about some of them, but what are that how do we rest these different ways?
Yeah. I mean,
Or what are you
physical.
experiencing? Yeah.
Yeah. No, of course. Physical is pretty obvious, right? So just making sure that you are getting enough sleep and, it's more so about how you prepare for sleep too, because sometimes we neglect the importance of just getting our minds right before we sleep to be able to have sound sleep, right? So, of course, the things we've all heard, shutting down your phones and, maybe preparing for the next day in terms of laying your clothes out, things like that. So you're not having to think about that stuff, making sure that you like, I don't know about you guys, but night sweats are definitely a thing for me. So, making sure you're nice and comfortable and, the temperature's right. So thinking about those things so that way you can make sure you have a good solid night's sleep. In terms of creative rest, what I ended up doing, because again, that was one that was very deficient for me. So I came up with a joy list. So things that just bring me joy, and just like created a list of things that I can just always go back to and reference, like having a cup of tea, like just, I will literally take this with me in the car and just like sit there just because it brings me joy. Right.
Yeah.
Or going on a nature walk. There's a wildlife reserve right near me that I love to walk at. And I just do that whenever I can. I love to cook. So I literally took time, last week? It was in the middle of the day, and I just made lunch. I made a seafood chowder.
Wow.
Like that's, but that's,
Wow. Never even done that at the end of the day.
Maybe it's easier in the middle of the day because you're not so tired.
Exactly. It's true. It is. Yeah, absolutely.
But what's so funny is people are so different. That would stress me out. I would be like, you say it, cooking brings you joy, and I get stressed out because of all the cleanup that happens afterwards. So now I hate cooking.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting how these things. Anyway, go on. They're all very dependent, right?
Yeah, and whatever sparks joy for you, right? So it may not be that, but whatever it could be for you. Because I have heard it said before, like if you work with your mind a lot, if you're sitting in front of a computer or what have you, you should rest with your hands. So some people, like I read somebody actually will take the time to do the dishes. Like we talk about cleaning up, but he enjoys that because it's like his time to rest and not think about things. So if you work with your mind, rest with your hands. If you work with your hands, then rest with your mind. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that too, related around anxiety too. They're saying when you find yourself anxious to busy your hands because it will take you out of your brain and put you physically in your body.
Exactly.
That's why I like to play tennis, honestly, because it's my brain has to shut off when I'm playing tennis. Otherwise, I'm going to get hit in the face with a ball, right? Like I can't think about anything else while I'm doing it other than what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that for me, that's interesting you talk about that. Like that for me, I would consider then rest. right? Like
Yeah,
that's a mental,
Your mental rest.
for me. Because
Exactly.
if I'm thinking about the inspection response that I have due at the end of the day, and then I'm literally I got hit directly in the chest the other day, like right in the sternum, so hard. Because I was thinking about something else, right? But then like, bam. Okay, so
It takes you back. Yeah,
I
that's
love
why
that.
you hear a lot of the adult coloring books. I don't know if you've seen them a lot.
yes. I love
So,
it.
and like my mom or my sister who will sit and like cross stitch or like
Yes.
knit and crochet and do all of those things.
Exactly. Yep. So those are all things you can do to just rest your mind, that mental rest. And then just continuing on, I guess another one for me that I really have worked on is setting boundaries for mental rest, right? So
Okay.
I have 2 phones.
Ooh.
Yes. So I
Okay.
have 2 phones. I tried doing like the Google Voice and
Yeah.
all of that, and it's something about being able to literally shut off my phone at the end of the day and saying that's it. Work is done. I will pick it up the next day. And it's just been a game changer for me just to be able to completely shut off from that. And, I have my other phone for my family and friends.
Yeah.
I can get a hold of, they can get a hold of me, but that's been huge. And then it also allows me to really spend the morning to focus on me and my, my morning routine and all that. And then I'll turn the phone back on at 8 o'clock and see what happened overnight. And
Okay,
deal with
here's
it
my
then.
Cheryl and I are sitting here like, oh my God. We're like, oh my God, this is terrible. Why would you ever do that? But okay, so here's why I can't, like, here's the anxiety that gives to me is when you turn your phone on at 8 o'clock, is it just like bing, 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 bing?
No.
No?
No.
She has set those
It's-
boundaries.
That's what and I let people know up front, like, this is what I have a voicemail message that I've had for, 15 years now, where I basically say that I do not take calls after 7:30.
Okay.
And the people that, I shouldn't say it's been a lot of people, but a few people have commented on it, and it's only been agents. Other
Yeah, 'cause we're
agents
the
have
worst.
a problem with it.
We're the worst.
Yeah.
We do it to ourselves.
Exactly.
I know. I'm trying to be the change that I want to see. I really
Me
am.
too.
Like, I schedule
You gotta be
emails
the
for 8
change.
o'clock the next morning. I'm
Yeah.
no longer doing open houses on Sundays. Like, I am that just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I only do open houses on Sunday because Saturday is a sports day for my family. That's when all my
for
kids
your
have
kids.
sports, right? But
Yep.
I also, like, I cannot stand these agents, and this is a tangent. I'm sorry, it's not what we're talking about, but we do it to ourselves. Like, you make a midnight deadline? Like, why are you doing that?
Who does that? Right. Exactly.
What? Like, who does that? Because guess what? Now we all have to sit up and wait and work at midnight because you know what? No agent responds before the deadline because we're all assholes.
Right.
It's so true. No, it's like it takes each of us to kind of come together and make this change. Yeah, because I feel like we're one of the main industries that do that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because if you talk to other industries, like, they don't have these kinds of crazy schedules and things like that. And a
Right.
lot of it is the clients, they didn't necessarily expect it. It's because of what you're doing, right?
Right. We're
What
setting
you're-
those rules.
Exactly. Yeah. So my clients, they're like, okay, I need to make sure I call you before 7:30. So yeah, they're totally in agreement.
Other than agents, like, and I think because we do have a lot of agents that listen, right? Your clients, for the most part, are fine with this. They respect it.
They totally respect it. I don't work on Sundays either, so that's my one day off a week. And, we just try to make sure that we're doing things on Saturday if they can only work on the weekends, or if I can't do it. And of course, if it's a property that's hot and we need to get in, then I'll coordinate and get someone else to show it to them. But we make it work. Absolutely. And everybody seems to be, because again, it's about setting those expectations up front, right?
I think this is a really interesting point, a really niche but interesting point that you just brought up. Like, here's where a lot of us would quote unquote fail, right? We set the boundary. We don't work on Sunday, but it's a really hot property, so we got to get in there. So I'm going to make this exception. And I have to be the one to take my client to this, right? That I absolutely would do that, right? Like that's in my brain, I would have been like, oh yeah, I guess I'll just have to figure it out and take them on Sunday because we have to see this property. But the fact that you've already like, you know, like per our BFF Susie, like you've already come up with a system to handle this, right? Like you've already come up with a process to be like, okay, Sunday is my day. If you want to see a property on Sunday, like cool, love that for you. It's going to be with another agent who I partner with or work with or whatever. Like that's so like so simple, but also like revolutionary in our industry.
Right?
It's definitely countercultural for sure.
It's counterculture, yes.
It goes against the grain of everything that we do in this industry. But I mean, why not? Again, I've been there. It's not like I've been doing it this way for my entire career. I've definitely, you know, done the things that I look back on and I'm like, why in the world did I do that? Like, I will never forget. I planned my son's birthday party and I'm literally showing a house the morning of the party. Why am I doing this? Yeah. Like, no. And then he didn't even like it. Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
The nerve of that guy. You mean you're not going to buy this house that I
wasted my time,
spent my morning showing you, you fucker?
Well, this is
wrong with you.
This is such the mentality though, right? Like, and this is where Cheryl and I talk all about like abundance mentality, right? But when we're in this, it's like an underlying current of scarcity, right? Because this could be the house. This could be the house that they want.
Exactly.
There can't be another one for them, and this could be it, and we could miss it, right? And it's that scarcity mindset that makes us think, oh my God, we could miss this deal, we could miss this opportunity for our client, and we are willing to give up the rest, right?
Yeah.
And that's when you say it out loud, it's kind of fucked up.
I have a powerful way that I shifted my presentation on this. So like when doing a buyer intake, I have the conversation of like, hey, listen, the first time we see houses, you may see 2 or 3 that are like in the criteria that you'd like. However, after that first showing, you will need to prepare yourself to leave early from work, to leave at lunch, to go in late to see these properties. And it's not because of me. It's because the good houses go quickly. So it's not my fault. It's the market's fault. So if you want to snooze until Saturday or Sunday to see that property, that might be a you issue, not a me issue. We got to see it or you might miss it. And so that's kind of setting that expectation on the front end of like, it's not me, it's the market. And if you don't want to miss, and I just had a client learn this lesson the hard way. You know, he just texted, he's like, I was just getting ready to text you about a showing for this one, but I see it's under contract. And I'm like, yep, that's how it goes with the good ones.
You lose. I know, but that's a great way to look at it. Just letting them know up front that this is not something that I can necessarily control. Like you're in the driver's seat when it comes to this sort of thing in terms of getting in to see the property. Because I don't want to, you feel the guilt, right? There's definitely the guilt there. Yeah, setting that expectation up front.
Well, and having the contingency plan, like you said as well, like having like, okay, well, if you do need to see it at that time frame, like it just won't be with me. And so having those conversations in your buyer agreement, you know, meeting or your buyer intake and explaining that, like, these are my hours. You know, I work business hours. Outside of those business hours is by appointment only. For urgent matters, here's what some urgent matters might be. An offer deadline. And, you know, we need to strategize your offer in the evening, you know, but then drawing the hard line of like, I don't take appointments after 7 p.m. I'm putting my kids down at that time. Just kind of, and the more upfront you are with that, the more respectful people are. And the more respect you demand of people.
There it is.
The more they respect you.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yep. As a true professional, right?
Right.
You're just not like this, you know, servant, if you will. Like, this is my business, okay?
Right.
Like, I'm a professional here. Like, this is how it should work.
And you're a real person and a whole person, right? Like
I have a life.
Yeah, and I think that goes to, again, this idea of like, you have to be willing to be okay with the fact that might not work for some people, right? Like,
that's
you don't have to be for everybody. You're not a taco.
I wish I was a taco. Tacos are delicious.
I'm with you on that.
Like,
Have
but
it your way.
Yeah. I think it's like, it's really hard, especially when you're starting a business, or especially when
It
you're
is.
early
I
in
get
your
it.
business. Like, and I think we have to listen to the D's and the people who have been doing this for a while, who unfortunately have done what we've done and then experienced all these things, right? Like, this is why it's important for you to tell your story, to be like, listen, I know, but like, just trust me on this. Like, just trust me on this, because we're going through like 2.0 burnout, right? Like, just, you don't need this, and you can let it go. And I think people who are hearing this that are early on in their careers, or who want to make a change, like, this is, you're a real life person who's doing this in real life. Like, it's possible. This is a thing. And it hasn't negatively impacted you in any way, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, sure, there could be those people here and there where, like you said, it just wasn't a good fit. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with firing people too. Like, I can already tell this is not going in the direction I would want it to go. I am all right with telling you, sorry, but this is not going to work out for us, and we can just part ways. But, you know, it really is something when I had my team, because I remember, like, I wish I had this or been given this information early on, right? So I just, you know, tried to encourage them to not build those, I don't want to call them bad habits, but, you know, it's just when, you know, when you're starting out, that's like the prime opportunity to really set up yourself for success moving forward. Not just from a sales standpoint, but from a business standpoint, right? To have that longevity over time, because burnout will kind of chase you if you don't, you know? And
well, and I think, Cheryl, you do this really well, and this is something you've taught me, is like always having another person, or like having a backup, or having a person on the deal with you, or whatever. Like, I remember when I was first starting, I was on a team. My team lead had big volume, right? Big volume. And she had this one client who was such an asshole. And I was kind of acting as her showing agent. So we were tagged. I was doing a lot of showings for this client. They were an out-of-town client. And she was at her son's high school graduation, and they would not stop calling her incessantly about seeing a house, about this or about that. Now, here's what I gleaned from this experience. One, people can be assholes. And two, she didn't set up the correct boundaries to start with. She didn't say, like, in that situation, she texted me and said, can you please take over this situation, because I'm at my son's graduation. But if ahead of time she had done what you did and said, like, hey, I'm going to be, if you communicate, like, I'm going to be unavailable from this time to this time. Here's my contact. Here's Colleen. Here's the person that you can use. And she's available. You know, like, we've set up the process. We've done what we need to do ahead of time. Like, we all know the graduation's happening, right? But she was like, and this is not to dog on her, but this was the mentality, right? Like, you have to be of service at all times, and you have to be available 24/7. And she did burn out, and you could see it, and you could see, I was watching it happen, and I just felt so bad for her, to be honest. Like, I felt like, oh my God. And I literally had to call the guy and be like, hey, guess what? She's at her kid's graduation. Like, I'm here. What can we do? And again, it was a house he wanted to see that he didn't even like.
Of course.
So I'm going to give a Sky Michaels tip here. So Sky Michaels coaches to, at the beginning of every week, all of your active clients that you have, he suggests you reach out to them and you set the expectations around that week. So like, hey, this week you have X, Y, and Z coming up. I'm available these times if you need to chat, but I will be like away from contact during these windows of time. So like, plan accordingly, essentially. And it's like, then all of your active clients know. And I did this recently when I was going to that Leadership Slow retreat. I was gone for 2.5 days, and I just like made sure every single one of my clients got a message that said, hey, I'm going to be unavailable, but if anything urgent comes up, here's your backup plan. And it went perfectly fine. And everybody knew, and I'm going to be doing a lot more of that. We're going to be traveling to Stanford a lot with one of my daughters, and it's going to just have to be what it's going to be, you know? And it's the reason that I have structured my team in the way that I have with a second person on every deal, is because I knew that my life would continue to happen because I'm a full person and I need to be able to be here for that. Okay, so we've set boundaries.
Great.
What else
That's
are we doing
great.
to rest, Dee? How else are we going to rest
what
our
else are we
7 sacred
doing?
rest things?
What
Sensory.
else are we
How can I rest my sensories?
All right, so I'm going to say this, and you guys, I think I shared this during my presentation too, but people are probably like, you're crazy, I'm not doing that. So I have taken social media breaks from time to time, right?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Colleen's out.
Don't make me. I'm out.
End call.
I'm just kidding. Go on. I'm not going to do it though.
So yeah, I would, when I felt overwhelmed, I'm like, okay, I'm going to shut it down for like a week. And then it turned into 2 weeks, and then it was like 30 days, 6 months. Last year, all year.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So
And
let me
you're
say
still in
this.
business.
Yeah, how
still in
about
business.
that? So what I did, I took the apps off my phone, and they're still not on my phone. That was huge. That was definitely a game changer, because when I was doing my breaks before, I would still have my apps on my phone, but taking them off altogether was huge. I still obviously wanted to have a presence from a business standpoint.
Sure.
So I would schedule my posts on Buffer. So that's what I do for my Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook for business.
Okay.
Personal, I was not on
Just
at
went
all.
dark.
Completely.
Okay, that's interesting. I like that approach because, the immediate's like, oh my God, this is such a big part of my business, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I have 2 accounts. I have like my Colleen Hungerford, which is what I consider my business account. And then I have a personal account. I have not touched my personal account in years.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Because I got too much business account happening, right?
Yeah.
And that's where I want people to come to see me, right? I don't want the other side. Like, I want them to come and see me here. And so that's interesting. I guess in my mind, I kind of meld those 2 things together. But also, I really like to just like lay in my heated blanket and watch TikTok. Like, I love it.
Well, I'll say this. So again, I took the apps off my phone. It forced me when I was on. So I'm now kind of back on. But when I go on my laptop, I actually have to set a boundary for myself, because I know I'm not going to be on my laptop for hours scrolling and all of that,
Yeah.
right? So
It's
it
hard to
almost
scroll.
forces me, to not be on it that long.
Right.
Now, YouTube is another thing. That's, I've kind of gotten on that a bit, because the other thing is with the mental rest, I don't watch the news.
I don't watch
I
the
do
news.
not, I'm not a big TV person either. And that's been for many years, in all honesty. I feel like I get my entertainment in other ways. Again, like I said, YouTube, I'll watch things or pick stuff up on podcasts and things like that. And read, I do like to read as well. But yeah, those are things that have kind of helped me with from a mental rest standpoint, sensory rest, I would say. Yeah,
It
that's
is a
more
lot
sensory.
of sensory. I have noticed recently, maybe this is perimenopause, which is kind of what I blame everything on. I don't even know if I'm going through it, but that's what I'm blaming everything on. Like, sounds have become, like, certain sounds have become so irritating to me. And also, my husband thinks I'm losing my hearing. But, like, there are just, like, certain sounds that are like, I'm going to fucking lose my mind if I hear you screech another time. Or, why is that music so loud? I'm literally becoming an old person. I'm like, what? Turn your music down. Like, what's happening? My kids are so loud.
I have arrived. I am old.
I feel like somehow in this hormonal change, I don't know, like something is happening with how I react to sound. And I think early on when I first had kids, it was touch. When you first have your kids and they're like always touching you, and you're always like, just I can't be. I'm over being touched, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel my kids. My youngest is now 6, and my oldest is 11. So I don't have that same kind of feeling as I did like when I was breastfeeding and holding the baby and like toddlers hanging on you and touching you all the time. It's like a different feeling.
Yeah.
Like there would literally be times where David would like want to give me a hug. I'm like, don't you dare touch me. Like, don't even breathe near me. Right. And now I'm like, hey, want to give me a hug?
Anybody want a hug? Anybody
want a
stranger?
I'm giving hugs.
Why do you think I hug all my clients? I'm like, anybody want to hug me? Like, just kidding. That's weird. No, I don't. I mean, I do, but not for that reason.
Clients.
I hug all my
I have
clients.
I'm a hugger.
I have a sound
Yeah, I'm a
hack.
hugger.
I have a sound hack. I'm
What's
sure
a
I've told
sound
you.
hack?
Oh, yes.
I have the loopy earplugs, and so they just kind of muffle. They bring the volume down, so you can still hear conversations. If my kids try to talk to me, I can hear what they're saying, but I'm just not hearing so much of the other noises. And they're just little tiny. They're not like connected to my podcast.
Okay, that's what I was
going to
ask you.
No, they're just earplugs. And they fit like inside your ear, so you honestly can't even really like. You'd have to look to see them. And then I actually got the like grandma glasses thing, you know, like to hold your glasses from thing.
Yeah.
So I have those on them just because they're small and I would lose them otherwise. And then also I can just, they clip around my neck like a necklace when I don't need them, and then I can pop them in. So last night I had my terrible headache that comes once a month, and Alex comes into bed and he turns the TV on and I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me. There's no way I can do this. But I just grabbed my blackout eye mask and I put my earplugs in, and then we were able to lay next to each other, and I didn't have to kick them out to the living room. But like I have those in regularly with my kids. I'll have them in the car. I'll have them in all the places
great.
so that I can just not
I
have
thought-
quite so much noise.
I thought that you've talked about these, and for some reason I misunderstood. I thought that they were headphones and that you were like playing something. Oh, I'm
No,
interested.
just quiets everything.
I definitely need to get those because I just wear regular earplugs, like
Yeah.
just the cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, and I mainly do that for sleeping, you know, because of my husband snoring.
Yeah.
And because of the sounds, like now it's to the point where I need it to sleep, you know, just period. Like even when I go to a hotel or whatever, you're hearing the doors close and whatnot. I need those. But I like
I'll
that
link them in the
idea.
show notes for everybody because they
Yeah.
have truly helped me.
Maybe they
a
should
lot.
sponsor our show.
I know we're not sponsored yet, but by the end of this one, we sure will be.
That's a good one.
I want to go back to you talking about your sleep routine because this is, and I'm interested in this. I don't know that I'm in the quote unquote season of life where I can be doing all of these things but I'm interested in learning about this because for me right now, I read to my daughter and lay in bed with her until she falls asleep. And then I typically do the same for my boys, or David does, right? So sometimes I fall asleep putting her to sleep, and then I wake up and it's like 12 or 1:30, and then I go back, and sometimes I can't fall asleep or something I can. But like I'm trying to figure out whether I just like chill out and let this part happen because she's almost 11 and I'm not going to be able to read to her forever. Or if I try to set some more boundaries there so that I can have a better sleep situation here.
Ooh, that D is so important. Which phone is it? Is it the personal phone or is it the work
I like
phone?
that sounded like a rotary phone, kind of.
I know. It's like, "Ah." No, that's my work phone. I
Listen,
totally forgot
they
to
can
do
wait.
The picture that I had in my head when that phone rang was like the old
A red
school,
phone.
like you pick it up.
rotary.
I'm gonna pick
Yeah.
up the like handle of the phone that's got the coil cord, and we gotta
I
love
know.
it.
It's so
much.
funny when you're showing houses and you see those. Like, oh, it's a relic. Look at that.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, a house phone in the
I
laundry
know.
room.
Exactly. Oh,
Anyway,
gosh.
okay, so tell us
sleep
about
routine.
your sleep routine because I am fascinated by all things
Yeah.
routine, morning and evening, because I am in a point in my life where I don't have those things. I probably should. I try to do a morning routine-ish, but inevitably with my kids, it kind of gets fucked up. So, like,
Yeah.
walk us through, like, your sleep routine, how much difference that makes in your sleep, and, like, just tell me about this magical experience because I'm just like, one day I'd like to achieve this goal.
Because I will say, I will pretty much get between 7 and 8 hours of sleep. And that's solid sleep. Like, I typically will not wake up go to the bathroom or anything, even though, that could be a thing. But yeah, I do not have to do that. And of course, my son, he'll be 11 next month. So things have changed with that because he was not a good sleeper at all. And I was in the bed with him until he fell asleep. And thank God for therapy because that helped him quite a bit in terms of sleeping on his own and in his room. And we found out, lo and behold, we moved his room. So he was in the middle room and it was too hot. He was getting hot. That's what it was for him. So now he's in the other room and it's cooler for him. And that's really what has helped him sleep better. Who would have thought? But anyway, he is my child. So I get hot too. So I know that for me, I need to have very cool conditions. So just preparing for sleep, I will put him down. I can't even say put him down anymore because he's almost 11, but this usually starts around 8:30, making sure he gets showered and everything, say goodnight, may read a book or something. And then I will do a whole routine in the bathroom, brush my teeth and all that, which I find to be very helpful for me because that gives me a little boost of energy after I brush my teeth to do the other things that I want to do, which is finishing the dishes. Like I like to wash dishes, so I will go wash dishes. I'll prepare, his lunch or whatever snack. If I can remember, I'll try to pack something for myself the next day, just wipe up the kitchen and all of that. And then I'll go and pick out what I'm wearing for the next day. If I know I have appointments, sometimes, if I know I'm going to be home, it really is not a big deal. But I will pull out workout clothes too. So I'll have that ready to go. And then, making sure the thermostat is set. I usually have it set at 68.
Oh my God.
Some people go cooler. Yeah. So where are you?
My thermostat's set at like 76.
Oh gosh, no, I would be sweating up a storm. No.
Then we turn the fan on.
I know, see? And I can't do that. We have a ceiling fan, but then my allergies, we dust it and stuff, but I still feel like it doesn't help with my allergies and all that. So I was like, no, we're turning it down. And then I don't do like flannel pajamas or anything like that. I'll do a little skimpy something. I'm not gonna lie.
I like it. I like it. Yeah. Oh my God, I love it. First of all, I have to tell you about something after this that's so blows my mind. But go on, I want to know about this.
So then I'll just do that, get ready for bed, and then I'll usually start to do a brain dump. So just like once I'm in the bed, I'll do a brain dump. Now, mind you, by that point, my other phone is shut off. I leave that phone downstairs, the work phone. So I'll just have my personal phone. And the other thing to keep in mind with my personal phone, I do not have any of the email apps on there. There's nothing on there work related.
I'll just have an aneurysm.
So I can't answer your texts. I can't answer your emails. I can't see them until the next day. So if I'm thinking about something, because of course I can see my calendar, so I may think about something for the next day. I'll just put it in the calendar to follow up in the morning, like a task or whatever, to do whatever it is that comes up. And then, I'll rest. I'll lay my head down, and that's usually around, I would say 10 o'clock is when I go to bed. And then my alarm is set for 5:15.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
You say you go to bed at 10 o'clock. Are you just like, close your eyes, go to bed?
Oh, yeah.
And you're just like out?
Lights are off. And my husband is a night owl, so he's not going to bed with me. Yeah, he's usually, and there's no TV in my bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, I took that out years ago. So no TV in the bedroom. He's watching TV elsewhere, and then he'll come later. But because I want to get ahead of him, because I told you he snores.
Oh, yeah, I feel this. I have to fall asleep before my husband. If he falls asleep before me, I'm like, good Lord. Like, what is happening over there?
Exactly. So I need to be nice and knocked out before, he gets in. So then, yes, morning, I get up at 5:15. Or the alarm goes off at 5:15. And my son, he has to be to the bus by 7. So I usually will use that time to get up. I'll unload the dishwasher if I didn't wash dishes, or I'll put the dishes away. I'll get dressed in my workout clothes, brush my teeth, all of that. And then I'll start reading a devotional or something in the morning, prayer, journal. I have my gratitude journal that I'll do. And, then I'll wake my son up, get him out the door. And when I take him to the bus, I'll either go for my walk or then I will go to the gym. So it's one or the other, depending on the weather and all of that. And then, I usually will start my day because I have a regular call at 8:30 with a few other colleagues, and we spend that time going through our CRM. So we're on for 30 minutes, and that's usually when I'll turn my phone on and I'll get started that way. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing
Sounds so lovely.
You're doing everything right.
No. No.
Sounds right to me.
No.
It's like all the things we hear that we should be doing to have like a fulfilled, restful life, and Dee's doing them. And look at her thriving over there.
And I'm over here like, what the hell?
This is not, happening every single day. We know how that goes, right? But no, this is from years of doing it not right. I mean, and burning out twice and all the other things. Like, I just got to a point where my health was of a concern between anxiety and high blood pressure, and my weight was way too high. So I had to because I wanted to be here for my son and my family, right? And I just turned 50. I'm just like, get it together, girl. You gotta
Well, and I'm betting, just to normalize this for people, I'm betting you didn't make all of these changes in one day and they stuck.
No.
This has been a progression over years of you instituting this habit and then this habit and then this habit to get where you are. So Colleen, obviously for us, it feels overwhelming to make these radical changes today. But if we picked one thing to do this week, this month, this year, and then as we feel comfortable and we've really established that habit, then habit stack and add the next thing and add the next thing, and that's fantastic. Okay, Colleen, you're gonna have to tell us your funny,
that's fine.
and then we're probably gonna have to say goodbye to Dee because time flies when we're having rest.
This is just a really funny note that I recently posted something about robes. I asked a question on my social media about why do you wear a robe? I'm not a robe wearer, and apparently this is a thing. People wear robes, and when I tell you that I did not know how many people sleep naked. So I put this on TikTok, and the response is, I sleep naked, so I put on a robe when I get up. And I was like, what? Am I a prude? What is this? And so
a prude.
my husband is like, I feel like you should get into robes.
That's right.
I was like,
listen,
okay.
The appeal wears off. I've never slept in anything the entire time I've been with Alex, and he doesn't even see it anymore. I feel
but here's my question, and this is and I've never thought to sleep naked, and I'm sure it's an enjoyable experience. I don't know, and people are like, there's science behind this, and I'm like, okay, people feel very strongly about this.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, there's science. Yeah. What the science is, I'm not sure, but apparently TikTok says there's science. But anyway, I'm just like, sometimes my kids will still come into bed with us, especially my middle son, and I'm like, I can't be naked.
You have boys. I have 3 girls.
Yeah, that's true. I have
naked.
Yeah.
A 9-year-old boy who still wants to come in and cuddle in the middle, like he did last night, and I can't be naked, and but I can't. I'm just I'm telling you that I have over 500 comments on my TikTok about people who wear robes, and more than half of them is because they sleep naked, and I'm just
it's a thing. Yeah, I know.
Didn't know.
So, I'm Princess in the Pea. So a wrinkle in my sheets, and I cannot sleep. It really messes me up. So then to wear clothes where what if my sleeve gets a little bit caught? What if this? And I'm a restless sleeper. I'm twisting and turning in bed all night. I'm not Alex who lays down and he's done and doesn't move all night. I'm flipping around. So if I have a shirt or something in the way, I simply cannot.
Yeah. I know. I'm this.
Go ahead.
I can't. Yeah, no, it's again, you talked about laying down with your daughter and falling asleep. Like sometimes I'll do that and I'll have my clothes on and I'll just go right to bed. And by the end of the night, like in the morning, like everything is taken off because I'm like so hot and everything by the time I wake up. It's just too much. So yeah, the less layers, the better. Like I like feeling the coolness of the sheets, and it must be the science you talk about. It must be the body temperature thing. Yeah, for sure.
Like I will sleep. I get hot, but I'll sleep in a sweatshirt and sweatpants under a heated blanket, and my house is 76 degrees.
Oh my God.
But the fan's on.
Okay, well,
the fan's on.
We want to hear from you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Please comment on this podcast. Are you sleeping naked?
Are you a
Do
naked
you like
sleeper?
robes?
I want to know.
Yeah, we want to know. Inquiring minds.
I accidentally fell into robe talk or created robe talk on TikTok, so people feel passionately about this.
We need to get more gifts of robes.
Well, Dee, you're not heavy on Instagram or TikTok, but where can people connect with you?
Well, I do have my business page, which is DGH Real Estate. So there's that. And on Facebook, it's also DGH Real Estate. And then I forgot to share, but we'll have to talk about this another time. I do have my personal page for my doula
oh my God.
training.
Okay, you have to come back and tell us about doulas because I want to know all about this and I think that they're so wonderful. Okay, sorry. We should have talked about this more.
Okay. But that's at D Greene Hill with an E.
Okay.
Greene
Hill.
Greene with an E on the end. Awesome.
Yes,
well,
yes,
Dee,
yes,
thank you so much for being here and sharing your story and your wisdom around rest. Keep doing it right,
for
friend.
having me. Hopefully you guys can link the quiz.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
yeah.
definitely can. We definitely can. Awesome.
I'm gonna take that.
Right.
This was fun. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks. Oh,
Thanks,
thanks,
guys.
Dee.
Okay, bye.
That's a wrap. Thank you for joining us on this journey of laughter, life, and growth.
And remember, you're not alone on this path to success. We're right here with you every step of the way.
Please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you found value in today's conversation, we'd be thrilled if you would leave us a review on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to us.
And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and anyone who could use a good laugh and some practical insight into navigating the challenges and triumphs of our minds, body, soul, and business.
Remember, we're doing this right.